Ok amigo, soy Mois de Learn Python de nada sana. Actually, in this session, we are going to cover how you can deploy Django on Nginx and Gunicorn. In the previous session, I lectured how to deploy Django on Apache, and this time is Nginx and Gunicorn. In the next session, I'll create a tutorial on how to deploy Django on Docker. So actually this is a tutorial series on how we can deploy Django because it has been a very long time we are learning how to code in Django, how to develop different big system. Now it is a time to have the mindset of how this source code works in a production server. So before we proceed, I'll show you the version of my server because this is Ubuntu server 2020. Okay, as you can see, the version of my Ubuntu is Ubuntu 2020 22. Okay, excuse me, this is Ubuntu 2022, and the version of Python, I have only one version of Python installed in my computer, which is Python 3.10.6. Perfect. I still insist on this version because uh, the issue of version in Linux in server, different modules, libraries, languages works with a particular version. I mean compatibility of version. So here we proceed. We start with let's create a visual environment in which we'll install Django and we'll install Gunicorn. Okay, so let us create a visual environment. So if you have not installed the visual environment, I would let you know that you need to install visual environment right now. So let me show the list of my packages. In my Ubuntu 2022, you can see the version of visual environment is 20.16.0. So make sure you install this visual environment so as you can be able to create visual environment. So here I'm going to create a visual environment with the name VM. Perfect. You can see visual environment is successfully created. Okay, before I activate it, I would like to change permission for my visual environment so as the folders, files inside the visual environment can be writable during the installation of Python packages. So the command is perfect. We are done. And if you see, the permission has changed. So the next thing to do is to activate our visual environment, and we can start installing packages inside our visual environment. So this is a command. Perfect. We are now have activated the visual environment. Let us list the packages installed in a visual environment. You can see no custom package installed in a visual environment. So the next thing we're going to do here is to install Django in a visual environment. So the command is pip3 install Django. Perfect. Django is successfully installed in our visual environment. The next thing to do here is to install Gunicorn. Pip3 install Gunicorn. Perfect. After successful installation of these two important packages, let us list the packages installed in our visual environment. You can see there is Django version 4.13 and the Gunicorn version installed in our Ubuntu server 2022. Okay, 22 is 20.1.0. That's perfect. Let us proceed. Okay, So after that, what we need to do here is let us create a Django project. Sudo admin. We have successfully created a project with the name Motec. Okay, perfect. Okay, after that, let us learn migration. Python 3, manage py, make migration. Then migrate. Perfect. You can see SQLite 3 is successful created. Okay, perfect. We are good. After that, if let us change to Motec here. Okay, once you learn this command, Python 3 manage py run server, you can see we are able to run Django in our visual environment. Perfect. That's cool. So because we have successfully installed the Django, so let us do something. First of all, let us bind this let us bind our application to Gunicorn. So before we bind it, let us allow port 80,000 on firewall. Perfect. Then after Gunicorn, bind, then you put IP address. My IP address is hidden for security purpose because yeah, just know that. motec.wsgi, press enter. Perfect. So let us go here, let's copy this, paste it on the browser. Okay, let us just copy the IP address and put it in setting. Sudo nano motec slash settings py. After that, learn this command once again. Go on your browser, refresh the browser. You can see we are successful, can run Django by using Gunicorn. But actually this is not the end. What we need to do here is for example, if I reboot this server, okay, actually I'll need to type this command manually. But what you want to do here is to go into the Gunicorn configuration file and configure our web application to start once the network starts. This means that it will actually work the same like in Apache. Whenever server restarts, our web application will be able to restart. So let us terminate this and go to Gunicorn configuration files. Okay, perfect. So let me delete this file. And we are going to create it from the scratch. So as you everybody understand, perfect. So this is a Gunicorn configuration file. And here we need to specify important configuration for our application, right? As I told you that what you want to do here is to make sure that as long as the network service has started, our web application also starts. I mean, Unicorn will start, and since and because our web application is deployed on Unicorn automatically or naturally, also our web application will start. So user, I specify my user. You can replace with your user. Group is www-data. This is group of you. This is Apache group. Working directory is the directory of your project. Perfect. Here we specify the path of our Unicorn installed in our visual environment. Here we specify the port to bind, the IP address. Put your IP address and the port 80,000. After that, let us wind up with the final two lines of our configuration. Perfect. We are good with Unicorn configuration files. After that, there are a couple of commands we need to run. Okay, there are some couple of commands we need to run. For example, we need to check the status of Unicorn so as to cross-check if our configuration works successful. So the command is sudo Okay, Gunicorn service consumed. You can see. Perfect. Let us restart our Unicorn. Start, because it is inactive. Okay, let us copy this command and execute it here. Choose the user, put the password. Perfect. After that, let us check our status. You can see it works successful, and once we come here on a browser, you can see it works. Okay, perfect. But what we need to do here will, as long as we go on, we'll disable these ports. Okay, I can say we are done with Unicorn. Let us move to Nginx. Before we proceed, we need to install Nginx. Okay, we need to install Nginx, and this is actually the command to install Nginx. Perfect. We need to check the version so as we can be on alignment on the same page. So you can see the version of Nginx is 1.18.0. We are good. Okay, after that, we need to move to Nginx configuration. Okay, so we need to change the directory cd. Perfect. Sites. So here, let us remove this default file. Then after we'll create it from the scratch, put the content inside this file. So sudo, I'm going to forceful remove it. Default. Also let me remove Motec. I don't use them anymore. So let us create a default. By default, once you install Nginx, you will see, you will meet this file. Okay, so you can choose to delete or to edit. So the following are the content to put in Nginx configuration file. So it listen on port 80. The location, okay, location is at the root. Then it procs pass. HTTP, IP address, and the port. Make sure the IP address and the port here you put is the IP address we put in Gunicorn. Okay, location. After that, let us configure the path for static files. So anything which is start with static should come here. Auto index off. We need to prevent the content in static, we need to, in short, in security mind perspective, we need to prevent directory browsing of images. So here put the path of your static. I don't know, you can choose to put static or static files. Okay, you can do something like this, or you can do something like this, but currently let me leave something like this. But if you use something like this, do not forget to run the command python 3 manage py collect statics. So currently let me leave like this. This will change depending on you. So after that, let us specify the location for fetching media file. I mean the file uploaded, the file to be downloaded. Yeah, sure. Motec media. Okay, if you get error, try to do something like this. You can do something like this. I think this is perfect. Control S. We are done, we are good. So the next command here we can do is actual to start Nginx server. First of all, let us check if the configuration is okay. I can see okay, something not okay. Let me come here. Okay, sudo let us check if configuration is okay. Okay, we can see configuration is okay. Let us restart our Nginx server and I will go to the browser. Okay, let us check the status of Nginx first before we start. Inactive, perfect. Let us start our Nginx server. Start, perfect. If we check the status, you can see our Nginx server is running. So what we can do here, if I refresh this, you can see it still works. Okay, oh perfect, we are done. We have successfully deployed Django on Nginx server. But once a user put IP address something like this, I can show you here something like this, and specify port 80,000, he or she will still be able to access this. So because this, we did this because we are testing. So what we need to do here is to block this port 80,000 on our firewall. Okay, we need to restrict user should no longer access this port 80,000, and this is command. So now this port is disabled. No user will be able to access. Once I refresh here, user will not be able to access. So one port which will remain here is only the Nginx server. Perfect. So actually this sum up the end of our today's session on how you can deploy Django on Nginx server in Ubuntu 20. 22 22. Okay, you can see here we can't access this port. You can see it is taking too long because we have disabled the port on file. So actually, thank you for having you. If you find out this session awesome, don't forget to like, put comment, share and subscribe. Asante sana, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, muchas gracias, muito obrigado, kamza hamida, aita. I have thanked you in 7 different international languages. Thank you. I hope to see you once again.